Udir and Ari. This would be interesting. Not sure why. I think Udir is a very interesting one. I'm gonna guess that like he lived in the wild and he learned the aspects of the animals that he's copying. Obviously, Udir has been through a recent rework, so whatever. But it's like still the essences are pretty cool. And Ari is, I mean, iconic hottie, you know, iconic furry hottie in the game. So
it's that time once again for another Lore of League of Legends episode.
Go.
As you're well aware, we're currently in the process of covering all of Ionia's champions.
Yes.
With the majority of them now done, there's only a few left, and we're going to be continuing on in this episode with Udir, the animal spirit, and Ari, the nine-tailed fox. Enjoy.
I feel like Ari should have a transformation as an R, rather than what her, like the dashing R, even though, yeah, it's recently been reworked, but I feel like her whole nine-tailed fox thing doesn't get exploited as much. The only thing that is like the most nine-tailed foxy female thing about her is the seduce thing, which is like known, it's like the lore of like these fox women is that they're like naturally seductive, right? Like that's the whole thing. It's like they're passively just like seduce men even without trying, right? Even if they don't want to, they seduce men. But that's the only aspect of her that, actually no, her orbs that shoot around her, whatever it's called, I think that's her, I want to say that's her E, is also pretty much in line with what a nine-tailed fox is. The orb she throws, not so much, and the R is not so much, but compared to like, you know, at least 2 of the 4 is good, you know. Still cool abilities, don't get me wrong, especially her R.
In search of their enlightenment, the monks of Ionia explore each side of their human spirituality. To achieve inner peace with oneself and pure perfection, they explore each side of their inner lives. Through long years of training and studies, they've found one way that fits them the best, whether that be seeking peace and light, or the strange beauty of deep sorrow.
So Udir is Ionian?
But it doesn't apply to everyone. Not every man was born in Ionia prepared to pursue their enlightenment through the calm journey into themselves. Udir had been born into a simple family of farmers, but his birth had been accompanied
this whole simple family of farmers who had a secret fucking weapon that just fucking murders everyone. I love it.
By the rise of a red moon. Some read that as a bad sign for the future of the boy. Others were completely ignorant to it, not believing in simple superstitions. Udir grew up without any significant problems, at least none that were visible, and people soon forgot about the bad omen. What people could not see, however, was Udir's primal drive, hidden deep within his soul. As a small child, he didn't express it, but as he was growing older, this feeling had been growing within him. Udir soon became a problematic child. He was hard to control and simply refused to accept some of the civilized standards that were expected. He refused to talk with people he didn't know and refused to wear any unnecessary clothes.
They're not practical. He probably also ate with his hands because it's just faster.
While working at his father's farm, he watched as townspeople came to buy crops from them.
Okay.
But he felt no connection to the other people.
Fuck him.
They were alike to him, but for some reason Udir felt more of a connection to the wild horses he'd seen in the distance, or the wild beasts lurking at the edge of the forest.
Free,
Time passed and Udir began providing more and more trouble to his parents. He would soon sneak out of the house and tend to the wild animals he could find, and fall asleep outside beneath the stars. His parents were no strangers to having to forcefully drag him back into the house, which was always problematic. Udir didn't enjoy the unnatural shelter they provided for him, and even less did he enjoy spending time there. He was becoming more of a beast than he was a man. His connection to the wilderness was stronger than the civilized ties that his parents forced upon him, And on the day of his 16th birthday, being officially recognised as an adult, Udir gathered all of his belongings and announced to his family that he was leaving home, never to return.
Ungrateful.
He left the farm, heading east with the simple goal that he'd set for himself, to drop the shackles of cultural expectations that society had placed upon him. Away from his family, Udir tapped into the inner well of ferocity that he'd never known before. He let the feral senses take control of his life. He became more of a beast than he ever was a man.
Yeah, why does he only has 3 toes? Why does his foot does not look like a human's foot? Right, that's kind of weird. Like, or did he transform after becoming more animalistic? What animal has 3 toes? Like, these are like troll toes, you know?
Setting up a lair for himself, he marked his own territory. Here, he was at the very top of the food chain. Anyone entering the lands of Udir ran the risk of losing their lives at the assaults of the man dressed in furs and bones.
What if oh, never mind, I see the 4th toe. Where's the 5th one, though?
Like a bear, he leapt at them from the bushes and rocks when they felt safe. Travellers just slowly followed the road. Hunters returning home with their prey or small military patrols. They all sealed their fate when they entered Udir's territory. His reign of terror continued on the small territory for years, but it came to an unexpected end. A lone monk was travelling on the long path returning to Ionia from his journey across the continent. He'd chosen the shortest path, one that Udir had claimed and guarded. The savage heard someone coming, and like always, he'd been waiting for them, hidden between the bushes. He awaited the right moment and then leapt forward right on to the old man. But with no effort, the old monk shoved Udir to the side and with a single hand. Enraged, Udir roared and struck again, but once again his attack had been blocked and himself pushed back with no visible effort from the
Was this Lee Sin? Kicked his ass?
monk. Time after time he tried to get at the monk, but every time he failed to reach him, no matter how much force he put into his attacks, the monk was seemingly unimpressed. With no sign of effort, he just countered every attack. Exhausted, Udir fell to the ground. The monk approached him, and without a single word, he gestured for Udir to rise and follow him. Out of respect for the old man's skills, Udir did as he was told, silently following in the monk's footsteps for days, until they reached an ancient Hirana monastery. Udir was presented to the monks there, where they took him in, teaching him how to control his savage fury, at least most of the time. Udir had been born a man with the spirit of beasts trapped inside his fragile body. Ari's story is quite the opposite. She was born as a wild fox and spent her days playing with her kid.
What a switch. It's like, so who was the monk?
In the woodlands of southern Ionia. But she did not feel good in her own skin, covered in snow-white fur. Somewhere deep inside her, she felt a strange connection with the world of magic around her. She felt that another form would suit her better than the body of a fox. She dreamt of becoming a human. This seemed like a dream for the simple fox that Ari was. All she could do was hope that...
Okay, so this is before... Oh, I see. Okay, so this is before they developed Vestayas, I believe. Because Ari's the only Vestaya, I believe, that came out in early League. I can't think of any other Vestaya. So they didn't develop the story of Vestayas yet. So so she's just a magical fox that turned like humanoid in all its lore. Interesting, okay.
That her dreams would eventually come true. And in a surprising turn of events, she was granted that wish. Lured in by the sounds of battle, the young fox approached the battlefield where the forces of Noxus have been mercilessly slaying Ionians. Slowly wandering between the bloodied corpses, Ari seemed to become attracted to one particular place on the battlefield.
Oh.
Following her instincts, she found the place that had seemingly called out to her. It was a hooded figure laying down on the ground, desperately trying to hold on to his life. This figure was surrounded by a magic circle of some sort that the fox did not quite understand. She approached the dying mage and in some inexplicable way, She reached into him. The life essence poured from the dying man onto the body of Ari, filling her with power she did not previously know. The feeling was exciting, intoxicating. When she drained the remaining life essence, she just stared down upon herself, realizing that her form had changed. Her white fur was disappearing, revealing the smooth, pale skin of a human girl. Her shape was human, but Ari realized that her transformation was not yet complete. She wasn't yet a real human, and she needed to find a way to finish the transformation. Ari quickly adapted to her new form and learned how to use it to gather more and more life essences. She figured that if draining a human's life essence had started her transformation into humanity, then it would surely finish it as well. She found a way to use her natural beauty and charm to attract unsuspecting men into her lair and drain them, stealing their life essence until everything that was left was a withered corpse. Feeding on more and more people had slowly been bringing her closer to a goal of becoming a real human.
More like a monster of a human, but yeah.
But she soon gained a part of humanity she did not know about: guilt.
Oh, okay.
She began thinking of everything she'd done in the past.
Fair enough. So she technically wasn't evil. She's still animalistic, right? With like very egotistical kind of thing. So yeah, makes sense, right?
When she was working on animal instincts, her actions seemed good. They allowed her not only to survive, but also climb up on the food chain. But now, Ari had been gaining morality. She realized she wouldn't just be able to ignore these new feelings. She couldn't just keep murdering people for her own personal gain. Looking for a way to cope with her evolving morality, Ari traveled to the continent of Valoran and found her way into the Institute of War, where the most powerful of spellcasters had been gathering.
Oh, that's so random. It's like, I guess it was quite a journey, but like that is so random. It's like, what a skip. Like literally just like and Institute of War.
Upon hearing the young kitsune's story, the summoners offered her a chance to learn about humanity and atone for her crimes by serving as a champion in the League of Legends.
What a leap.
And that's all I've got for you in this particular episode.
That's such a leap in the story. It's like, this is her origin and League of Legends. But yeah, it's cool that they didn't come up with Vestias yet. So that's an interesting way to go into the Ari story. I actually don't mind it. It's actually like, again, I can see it limiting the build-up of the world, but like, yeah. Interesting. Somehow drain the essence of the human, hooded human. You know what I was thinking while I was watching this video? Or if it's like, if they please, for the love of God, stop making new champions, and instead, I mean, you can call it rework and stuff, but more like evolve the current champions, as if like you're playing in a living world, so the champions become stronger through the experiences in the lore, not necessarily like, something extraordinary, but kind of like the abilities can evolve, right? So it's like how, like, for example, right now, I would say the change to Ari's ultimate is an evolution of her ultimate rather than a rework of her ultimate, because it works the same way. It's just that now it's like if you kill somebody, you get another charge of your ultimate, something like that, right? It's like, I'm not sure exactly how it works, but it's like it recharges on kills as well as on time. So like things like that can like add flavor to the character, as if like their abilities evolved with time. I think like that would be pretty cool. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know how you would go about with every champion. There's like 130 something champions, but it'd still be pretty damn cool. Anyways, that's the Udin Ari, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.